Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, you know me. My name is Dr. Keith McNally. This is Coach's Corner. I'm here with Krista Hernandez, and you might recognize her from the question guy. And so I'm going to have that conversation link in the description of this video here on YouTube. But she's coming back. I invited her back because from that conversation, she is doing amazing things for other people. She's helping people. But to give us some perspective, Western modern medicine here in the United States failed you basically. I mean, completely. And that shouldn't be. That really shouldn't be. And my only story is, I was diagnosed with, asthma and was told not to aggravate it. Don't overexcite your lungs because it's not going to work. But I went out and tried to manage it myself, and I began running at the age of 13, 14 years old, and never stopped. So I keep on keeping on with exercise. We're not here to discredit modern medicine, but you went after you went after healing. You went after solutions, and I love that because I'm all about that on all my conversations. You went after solutions, and so let's kind of dig into that a little bit, and then kind of fast forward to where you are now.
Sure. What it comes down to is at 13, I was not willing to accept the answer of there's nothing we can do for you. You just have to live with pain. That was not an answer to me. That was an excuse, even back then.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
with everything that, man has cured and whatnot, you can't tell a 13-year-old kid, you're just gonna have to live like this. That's it's criminal, honestly, I think, to do that. So yeah, I took a number of steps on my own, and we talked about in our previous conversation. But 24 years, I've been digging for those answers. I'm kind of I guess kind of like a holistic archaeologist, in that way. Though more respectful than Indiana Jones, who I do love, but not a good archaeologist. Anyway, um, so I've been digging both into the external and the internal because we have to do both. So in the external, I've experimented so much, and some of it's been good, some of it's been bad, and that's what it comes down to with trial and error a lot of the times in alternative medicine. For instance, I used to drink, we'll call it a smoothie, because I think technically it was a smoothie. What did I have in that thing? Eggshells, banana peels.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. My one of my close friends used to call it cement, that I would make because you could kind of spoon it too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did some potentially dangerous things that I didn't realize were dangerous, some reckless things here and there. And I was fortunate that consequences were never too severe. I'd be in pain or I'd have increased anxiety, dizziness here and there for some things, but nothing that ever hospitalized me, or caused me like super lasting injury.
Right.
Um, and I learned a lot of things the hard way. And that's one of the reasons I've become a coach now, is to hopefully spare a lot of women the same pain that I went through by learning from my mistakes, and also by hopefully, significantly cutting down that healing time that it takes, because I was fumbling around in the dark for a long time.
Well, there
Because
was no guidance out there. You
no,
just said that, modern medicine had failed you. So you had to find something, and this is at the onset, the infancy of the internet. So resources weren't all around you.
no, no,
No.
we had like 1999 Encarta encyclopedia. That was my, resource at that point. And things got a little better in the years to come. Once my grandparents were kind enough to give me a laptop from bed if I was in too much pain to get out of bed. I could still try to help myself in some way, looking for support groups or any kind of information on what at the time I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And so over the years, that trial and error just continued with diet experimentation, um, And a lot of that also came through my best friend, who also has a number of chronic illnesses. We met 11, 11 years ago now, living on base at Vandenberg Air Force Base, and my husband's in the Air Force. And especially for women, a lot of the trial and error comes from just sharing ideas with each other,
Wow.
and being open. Problem is when you get Lucy and Ethel sharing ideas, that's when things get dangerous
Well,
sometimes.
you said you didn't get too dangerous, and so if we fast forward a bit, you did find something that worked.
I've found a number of things that worked, and
Okay.
that's something really important for people to understand. There's no one thing. Not only is there no magic pill when it comes to healing, chronic systemic illnesses. There's
Okay.
no, elixir that anybody can take to just cure something. It's not about curing anything. It's about healing. And healing takes time and it takes work. And there is no one thing. I have tried and used so many different modalities in the last 7 years. And over time, I've learned how to cultivate both body and mind awareness to listen to my body to tell me what it needs at that time. Like right now, I'm taking a break from strength training that I worked with a physical therapist on a couple of months ago. I'm a bit of a masochist, some people say, because I really like needles. I did acupuncture for a while, and that's surface level needles. I got a lot of tattoos, and there is a therapeutic aspect of that as well.
To tattooing.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there really is. I'm going to definitely talk about that on my show in the future. You just can't see any of them right now. Um, and I recently got into dry needling, which is essentially a licensed doctor physical therapist basically shoves needles directly into your muscles
Oh God.
for a myofascial release. It's amazing. It was for transformative appointments. So I took a break from acupuncture, did the dry needling, did Reiki instead. You can't overload your body. So you have to do that trial and error, especially with energy work.
Hmm.
Because if you do too much to your body, you're going to end up in what's called a healing crisis. Your body needs time and space to restore and heal itself. So like right now, I'm taking a break from strength training because my body is telling me it needs other things right now. I need tension release. So I'm doing guided meditations, very powerful guided meditations to release the tension that has built up in my body over decades that is now being released through both visualization and movement. I'm also doing a lot of chakra work right now. So since I'm doing all that energy work on my own, I'm taking a break from Reiki. And since that takes up a lot of time, I'm not doing the strength training routine anymore. I'm doing yoga instead because that can double kind of as meditation. So kind of got to mix and match to keep yourself sane because as I talk about on my own show, self-care overload is absolutely a thing.
Okay.
You can drive yourself crazy trying to heal too fast, trying to force yourself to heal. And that also comes from a place of fear
So,
too.
can I ask a question? And
Sure.
because that actually raises a really good point. Understanding or knowing your body, and so I don't do the same things as you do, but I know my body. I know I know how it functions, it operates. My muscles. I'm very in tune with how when I'm running or when I used to run or now I hike and walk, I'm very in tune mentally and maybe even spiritually with what's going on with my body.
Mhm.
And I can't explain it. I don't have any words for it, but it's like I feel like I've become one with my body. It's just like really, it's a strange experience. Um, so this is kind of what I'm hearing from you. You got to really
Absolutely.
know, and it doesn't, and it didn't take, it wasn't an overnight sensation. It was, gosh, I'm 50 some years old now, so it did take a while to master that.
Yeah, body awareness is absolutely essential to healing because you have to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You need to be able to feel too often, especially for women, we just ignore what's happening in our bodies. We just push and push and push to what has to get done, get the to-do list done, get the work done, all of it, and just ignore our body's needs. That's how illness manifests in the first place. That's how illness gets worse. So we have to listen to those cues, because all of those cues are telling us things. Pain is nature's, our body's warning system.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yes, something is wrong somewhere. And the same goes with our gut. Signals in our gut will tell us different things. Depending on what we eat, your gut may be telling you, hey, you're eating too fast. Hey, you're eating too much sugar. If you're getting heart palpitations, that's your body telling you, stop it with the caffeine.
Yeah.
Potentially, if somebody's, addicted to coffee or energy drinks, whatever form it may come in. Women especially have to be attuned, because our hormones are talking to us all the time during our cycle. Different food cravings mean different things. If we're craving chocolate versus carbs versus something salty.
Does that mean there's a lack of something, or
can
it's,
be?
yeah,
Yep.
okay. Or
It
is it
can
just,
be. It can be a deficiency in something,
okay,
or it can be hormonal fluctuations, maybe like estrogen dominance, issues with progesterone, whatever it may be. You can correlate those issues to different times of your cycle. And you can also correlate the issues in your body to different emotions.
Hmm.
Migraines are another one, another big indicator that you are probably under tremendous stress.
the migraine?
Migraines in
Migraine.
general.
Okay. I've never had one, so.
Everything in the body, every physical symptom can be brought back to an emotional issue. There is always a connection.
Emotional
So that
trauma, or just emotions out of balance?
thoughts, emotions,
Okay.
anything that doesn't serve us, any, toxic thoughts that we're holding. It can be, from past trauma. It can be just, stress in everyday life. And it all comes back always to some sort of fear at the root. And everything is kind of an offshoot of fear. But that's the other reason body awareness is so important, because if we can pinpoint exactly what's happening, we know the emotions that we have to release to get through it. And that's what I've used EFT tapping for.
And again, the acronym?
Emotional freedom technique. So EFT for me is peeling the onion, peeling back the layers and layers of emotion. So what I love to do is, if I feel something happening in my body, I will, go to Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, where she lists all the different physical symptoms or actual diseases that people can have, and look at the issues, the emotional issues behind it. And I'll think about what's going on in my life and tap on those issues. And the woman's never wrong. She's passed on now, but she's never wrong. So the good thing about this is, especially when you're living in a state of anxiety with illness, when you have symptoms that are all over the place and it's like playing a game of whack-a-mole all the time, it helps you stay calm about your symptoms, because you're like, oh, I'm having knee pain right now. I know what that's about. It's okay. This isn't any kind of setback. This isn't a new symptom. I know what's going on there. Or, oh, I'm having acid reflux. Okay. I know what this is about. For me, a big one is sinus pressure and congestion in my face. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's my resistance indicator, that I am feeling some sort of emotional resistance. Happened today. I had to do a little quick, like 9-minute tapping, because I just didn't want to write my social media content. I just didn't want to do it.
You were resisting that, literally?
Yes.
And it manifested as
Sinus pressure.
sinus pressure. Wow.
That's how it
Is that
manifests.
consistent? Is that like, is that a correlation? Is that always consistent?
For my body, yes.
Okay. All right. Is that going to be something that, not specific to that, but for people in general, does the mind body, is that always consistent? Like, they're having a fear of whatever, and it correlates to a physical issue. Is it always the same?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It can change.
Damn.
It can change
Which I'm trying to find things that are easy.
Well, here's the thing. Every body is different.
Okay.
And, things are going to manifest differently in each body, but generally there are correlations. especially too when it comes to like sides of the body. There's also a correlation between, masculine and feminine energy.
Okay.
The left side of the body, the feminine, versus the masculine side of the body, the right.
Hmm.
Different organ systems will also correlate to different issues. You can check that out with like looking at an acupressure chart, even a chakra chart as well, because the different chakras in the spine line up to different emotional issues and organ systems in the body. So like I've been doing a ton of work on root chakra lately with yoga and meditations, because that is the chakra that is responsible for our skeletal system. So I've been able to heal and release the systemic disease in my body, but I'm still dealing with the consequences of it on my skeletal system. So I've been doing a lot of healing work with my joints, releasing tons of stiffness. Just this morning, I did 3 tension relieving meditations. I did one for face, I did hands and wrists, which was surprisingly powerful, and I did belly as well, because I've got a lot of tightness still in my rib cage that I'm working through.
For somebody who doesn't practice, what would that look like or entail, or what are you actually doing? Your meditation.
So I use an app that's amazing called Insight Timer.
Okay.
It's a fantastic app that I'm going to recommend to my clients, because number one, it's free.
Well, we
There's
can
a
put
free
that in the
version.
description, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Insight Timer. It's free. There is paid portions of it, but there's like 200,000 free tracks you can listen to. So right now I'm listening to a particular practitioner on there. She has a whole series of tension releasing visualization meditations. So sometimes I do it just where I am right now in my office on a chair. I usually do just the guided meditations from YouTube on there, but like the Insight Timer ones I'm doing downstairs on my mat, because they're a combination of movement and visualization.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would that movement look like? Is it like yoga movements, poses, positions?
Gentle, yes,
Okay.
gentle yoga poses and positions.
So given all of this, you decided to take it one step further and help people, specifically helping women with chronic illness. Yes.
Yes.
And how does that work? Like, do
So
people have to, do they have to go to you and knock on your door and say, help me, or?
I hope not. I'm an introvert. Please don't knock on my door.
But you're helping people. How can you be helping people as an introvert? That's not even possible. How are you getting that? How are
It
you
is.
getting that done?
Of course it is. So I'm working with clients virtually. I'm actually creating my signature coaching program right now.
Okay.
It's called Root to Rise. It's going to be a 12-week program. I'll be rolling that out on January 1st. So this is where I thrive, is, the one-to-one, the small groups. If you put me into a giant room full of strangers, I'm just going to stand against the wall looking uncomfortable.
I've been there too, right?
Yeah.
And we've both grown so far. But what's that 12 weeks like?
So each module is going to take a look and really dive into various aspects of a woman's life. So we're going to review, identify, strategize, and execute. So this is what holistic wellness is all about. It's not just the mind, body, and spirit. It's everything in your life. So yeah, we're going to look at the health stuff, right? We're going to look at diet and we're going to look at exercise. Sure. But we're also going to look at what's your financial life looking like, because money is one of the greatest stressors out there. And it all comes back to stress management in the end, because stress is truly the silent killer. Stress leads to inflammation, leads to disease and illness. So we are going to do an overhaul of your life to get that stress under control. So diet, exercise, finances. We're going to look at your relationships. We're going to take a look at your household management, what systems that you have in place. We're also going to dive into the past as well, because the past informs the present. So when we look at diet, yeah, we're going to look at what, your current eating habits look like, your current systems in your home, if you have any. But we're also going to look back and look at what food was like in your house when you were a kid. How was food talked about? How was it dealt with? How was money talked about? How was it dealt with? Same for exercise. What were your relationships like? Look at your relationships now. How is past programming informing your present? And what from the past is causing you to have blocks to healing now?
I'm glad it's 12 weeks because that seems like a whole lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and that's what people really have to understand. I've met a lot of women over the years who want to just take a pill, who want it to be simple and easy. And I get that. I absolutely get that. But that's not how it works.
Mm.
So the first part is acceptance that healing is going to take time. You're not going to cure anything in 12 weeks, but my program is going to give you a foundation, a solid foundation. We're going to pour that foundation of the house together. And then I'm going to give you all the plywood, all the drywall, all the building materials. I don't know anything about building a house, so I'm just naming random things in construction. But I'm going to give you all of that. And then after that 12 weeks is over, then you're going to be able to build a beautiful house. And using those tools and resources that you've gained, that I've given you, you're going to be able to maintain that house well for the rest of your life.
So it sounds like workshops plus education plus some training plus resetting the mind and thinking strategies.
It's a huge mindset shift.
Okay.
And when it comes to healing, that's usually necessary.
Okay. Is that
I always say illness is not necessarily our fault. And I'm not talking about like if somebody, smoked 3 packs a day for 20 years and ended up with lung cancer. You got some responsibility there,
there?
kind of
Yeah.
your fault. But when it comes to chronic illness and emotions manifesting as physical illness in the body, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Right.
And leaving that victim mentality that's so easy to fall into and truly taking control of your health and your healing, that's a huge step in and of itself.
So it doesn't start until January. What are you doing between now and then? And at the time of this recording, we're transitioning from September to October 2023.
So for those who are either ready to start healing or on the fence, things aren't working for you out in Western medicine. I hate it when I say that because it makes me think of Dr. Phil, and I can't help how's that working for you, as much as I, don't care for that man. Or the state of Texas in general, where I lived for 5 years, but that's a whole other story. So you can check out my podcast. In the meantime, She Lived. I have about 30 episodes in the archive right now, launched in on the first day of spring, actually in March. And I am now going bi-weekly with the show as I'm very busy creating Root to Rise. So there's tons of free content available there, free advice. You can definitely go check out my website too and get my free sanity planner, which is specially designed just for women with chronic illness.
Cool. Krista, I appreciate this conversation, and I hope you help as many people, women specifically, man, take back their life. That'd be so cool.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me, Keith. Again.
Absolutely. For those of you who are watching and listening, join me next time and take care.